The Remarkable Tale of Mr. Ed and Wilbur Post. Once upon a time, in a quiet little barn nestled behind a suburban home, there lived an extraordinary horse named Mr. Ed. But Mr. Ed wasn't just any ordinary horse, he had the gift of gab. Fluent in English, with a sharp wit and a talent for snarky comments, he was a constant source of both amusement and exasperation for his owner, Wilbur Post. Wilbur, an architect with a tendency to find himself in peculiar situations, first met Mr. Ed when he and his wife Carol moved into their new home. The property's charm included a barn, which they assumed was empty, until Mr. Ed revealed himself with a casual, "Hello, Wilbur." After recovering from the shock of a talking horse, Wilbur quickly learned that life with Mr. Ed would be anything but ordinary. Keeping secrets in the suburbs. From the moment they met, Mr. Ed proved himself to be both a loyal friend and a comedic troublemaker. Wilbur soon discovered that keeping a talking horse a secret was a near impossible task. Mr. Ed had a knack for picking up the telephone and engaging in conversations, often with complete strangers. One memorable afternoon, he phoned a local talk show host to offer his expert opinion on equestrian fashion, leaving Wilbur scrambling to explain the strange call to a puzzled Carol. Despite the chaos, Wilbur couldn't help but appreciate Mr. Ed's insights and humor. Beneath the wisecracks, Ed often gave surprisingly sage advice that helped Wilbur navigate the challenges of work, life, and friendship. An architect's inspiration. One day, Wilbur faced a daunting project, designing a new stable for a prestigious racetrack. Struggling with inspiration, he vented his frustrations to Mr. Ed while pacing the barn. Ed, with a twinkle in his eye, suggested a whimsical design. "How about grand arches and an ornate fountain? Make it a palace for the horses, Wilbur, they deserve it." Skeptical but desperate, Wilbur sketched the idea. To his astonishment, the racetrack owners loved it. The stable became the centerpiece of the racetrack, earning Wilbur accolades and cementing his reputation as a creative genius. Wilbur knew the credit belonged to Ed, but the horse simply winked and said, "Don't mention it, really, don't." Mr. Ed's neighborhood adventure. On a sunny afternoon, Wilbur decided to take Ed for a walk around the neighborhood. As they strolled past a group of children running a lemonade stand, Ed couldn't resist joining the fun. "Hey kids, how's business?" he said, startling the children, whose eyes widened in awe. Within minutes, the lemonade stand became the talk of the neighborhood. Parents and neighbors flocked to see the talking horse, turning the small gathering into an impromptu block party. Ed, ever the showman, answered questions and even sampled the lemonade, declaring it a bit too tart for my taste. For Wilbur, seeing the joy Ed brought to others reinforced how special his friend was. It wasn't just Ed's ability to talk, it was his knack for connecting with people, brightening their day with his charm and humor. Life's extraordinary companionship. As the days turned into months, Wilbur and Ed continued their adventures. Whether solving household problems, helping neighbors, or simply sharing laughs in the barn, their bond grew stronger. Through it all, Ed's wit and wisdom taught Wilbur to see life's challenges from a fresh perspective. One quiet evening, as the barn glowed softly under the starlit sky, Wilbur leaned against the stall door and said, "You know, Ed, life with you is never dull. I can't imagine it any other way." Ed, chewing on a bit of hay, replied with a glint of mischief, "Well, Wilbur, it's not every day you meet a horse like me. Let's make sure we keep it interesting." And so, in that humble barn, Mr. Ed and Wilbur shared a life filled with laughter, surprises, and the kind of friendship that only comes once in a lifetime, a reminder that the extraordinary can often be found in the most unexpected places. The end.